SpaceX has revolutionized the whole space industry. Elon Musk has changed the way that we now see space travel. And if that weren't enough, he wants to start a colony on Mars. Recently, he announced more about SpaceX launches and the work he has planned for them. And one thing we know about Elon Musk is that he always delivers on what he says. So, what does he have planned for SpaceX? Well, stay tuned to find out. Hello guys, and welcome back to Tech Elon Musk, where we discuss Elon Musk news, SpaceX news, and much more news about Elon Musk. Today, we're going to have a look at Elon Musk's update regarding SpaceX launches. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to never miss out on new videos. So, what does Musk have planned for SpaceX? Well, let's find out. The main thing that he's trying and working towards is starting a colony on Mars, which would make the existence of humans interplanetary. And given what he's doing, we can say that he's even closer than ever to achieving this. SpaceX is currently developing their secret weapon to help achieve this. Though, it's not really a secret because you can follow the development live on YouTube. The Starship is said to have the sole purpose of transporting people to Mars. This will make it the furthest that mankind has ever traveled outside of Earth. But what is it about Starship that's so fascinating? The Starship is said to be the most powerful rocket that has ever been built in history. It's been in development for years, and now SpaceX is set to start test flights of it soon. According to Elon Musk, SpaceX is hoping to launch the first orbital flight test of the Starship sometime in January or February. However, this depends on the testing and regulatory approval. Musk said this around November 2021, when speaking at a meeting of the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering and Medicine Space Studies Board. Musk stated that they will do a bunch of tests in December and hopefully launch in January. The Starship is meant to be the next generation of rockets developed by SpaceX, and apart from transporting people to Mars, it will also transport cargo. Since the beginning of humanity, cargo has always been transported all over, whether by air, water, or land. Statistics show that every year, about 11 billion tons of cargo are moved by ship. And this is just by ship. We've not even counted the amount transported by air, rail, and road. But transporting cargo is not only on the Earth. Cargo can even be transported to outer space. When it gets there, it's known as payload. This payload can vary from satellites to other things being transported to the International Space Station. Speaking of satellites, SpaceX recently added 49 more Starlink internet satellites to their constellation. They were launched from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida on January 18, 2022 at around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time aboard the two-stage Falcon 9 rocket. About 9 minutes later, after liftoff, the rocket's first stage was detached itself from the top and came back down. It then landed on SpaceX drone ship, a shortfall of Gravitas, which was stationed in the Atlantic Ocean off the Florida coast. This was a great milestone for SpaceX, as this was the 10th successful landing. The same booster has been used in a couple of launches, which included 6 dedicated Starlink missions: the GPS III-3 satellites for the US military, the Turksat 5A satellite for Turkey, and the Transporter 2 rideshare mission. This last mission carried about 85 small satellites and 3 Starlink craft. After the booster detached itself, the Falcon 9's second stage continued on its way to orbit. It eventually deployed the 49 satellites about 15 minutes after launch. However, by the time the satellites were deployed, the second stage was already out of range of ground stations. Since the whole event was being streamed live, it took about an hour for them to confirm the deployment of the satellites. These satellites added the number of Starlink satellites already in orbit to more than 2,000. However, Elon Musk's goal is to add them up to around 12,000 satellites, which will be providing internet worldwide. SpaceX also transports cargo to the International Space Station, or if you prefer, the ISS. This is in partnership with NASA. However, Musk still plans to revolutionize the cargo transport sector with the Starship. The Starship is qualified to be the best for transporting cargo. But why is that? Well, first of all, the Starship is really powerful. Thanks to the Raptor engines developed by SpaceX themselves, the rocket can produce up to 72 meganewtons of thrust. This can give it enough power to carry about 100 tons worth of cargo into space. This beats every other rocket that there is, making it the only rocket that can carry this much weight in a single thrust. This means that if they manage to launch the Starship, they could transport so much equipment in a single flight. In addition to being super powerful, the Starship also has a very large volume. This means that it can transport cargo of all shapes and sizes. The payload volume is about 1,100 meters cubed. It can fit a load that's as tall as 18 meters and as wide as 9 meters. This is even larger than any other rocket in existence. Not only that, but the Starship also has speed. It's said to move at a magnificent speed of 16,777 miles per hour. This means that it can travel long distances in a very short time. To give you an idea of how fast this is, a commercial passenger jet moves at around 400 to 500 knots. When you convert this to miles per hour, it's about 460 to 575 miles per hour. The fastest fighter jet in the world, which is the NASA/USAF X-15, moves at a speed of about 4,520 miles per hour. This is 5 times the speed of sound, so imagine moving at 16,777 miles per hour. Even after having all this, the Starship is relatively cheaper to launch when you compare it with other rockets. This is mostly supported by the fact that the Starship is reusable, meaning that you can transport a lot of payloads to and from without worrying about building another rocket. Musk has managed to build a rocket that is fully reusable, and not just the booster, but even the top part of the spacecraft. Because of this, he has managed to reduce the cost to about $2 million per launch. Compared to other launches that cost billions, this is a huge reduction. This might even make SpaceX the #1 company to go to for transporting cargo to the International Space Station. However, Musk says that he plans to make this even lower. One of the greatest traits that Elon Musk has is that he never gives up. If it doesn't work out, he goes back to the drawing board and gives it another try. Before SpaceX can launch the Starship into orbit, the company first needs to attain a launch license from the Federal Aviation Administration. Not only that, but the regulator has to complete an important environmental assessment. However, even when making plans to perform the test flights of the Starship, Musk said that he isn't sure whether the Starship will successfully reach orbit on the first try. But even so, he remains very optimistic that the rocket will get to space in 2022. According to Musk, to complete the test flight program, SpaceX is aiming for a dozen Starship test flights in 2022. This is all in preparation to launch real payloads in 2023. He then went on to say that the biggest constraint on manufacturing the Starship is how fast they can produce the Raptor engines. Musk stated that he thinks in order for life to become multiplanetary, they'll need maybe 1,000 ships or something similar. The overarching goal of SpaceX has been to advance space technology such that humanity can become a multi-planet species and, ultimately, a spacefaring civilization. 2022 seems to be a great year for Musk and SpaceX, as they've started the year off by launching the Starlink satellites. And that's all for today's video, guys. Do you think that they will achieve their goal of launching about a dozen test flights of the Starship? Do you think that they'll achieve their goal of launching their first Starship into space in 2023? Let us know in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to never miss out on updates about Elon Musk. Thank you for watching and see you next time.